While quarantine orders are slowly being lifted, government and health officials are still encouraging limiting the outside of the house time. But for some, being out is the only freedom that they have left. In the U.S., nearly 20 people are physically abused by an intimate partner every minute. And each year, more than 2.9 million cases of child abuse are reported.
Now what we're trying to do is we're trying to survive.
Domestic abuse survivor and Safe Harbor Domestic Abuse Services Ambassador Amika Clark says this shutdown has made both victims and survivors feel trapped in their own homes.
You start to feel that heightened anxiety, and you feel as though that the walls are starting to close in on you because you can't get out and you can't have that socialization that you're used to. And that's why it's important to be very creative in your communication through avenues such as Zoom, other social media outlets.
The South Carolina Department of Social Services says the quarantine has done some harm, specifically to children.
The child abuse hotline is still active and still running. We've seen a decrease in calls, close to 55% of calls, a decrease in the call volume. A lot of that is to do with children being out of school. Teachers are our eyes and ears and a referral source.
Clinical social worker and therapist Santia Smith asks community members to responsibly step up and speak out for those who can't.
It's up to you. If you see something, I want you to take that responsibility, but then also to be cautious in what you are reporting and be cautious about the steps that you are taking. You want to be aware of that process. So always report it, but I also just want you to ask the proper authorities the questions of, once I report this, what are the next steps of that so that we can really keep everybody safe? Yes.
While phone calls, video conferencing, and text messages are proving to be great ways to connect, Clark says it's important to check up on those who've gone uncharacteristically silent.
It's very critical to continue to reach out, to those loved ones. If it means going through your contact list and those individuals that you haven't talked to in a while, make that phone call. You never know what that simple hello will actually do in terms of uplifting the other person on the other end of the phone.
Data shows South Carolina has ranked in the top 10 states for the rate of female homicides over the past 17 years. And across the U.S., 5 children a day die from abuse. So if you suspect something, when reaching out, do more than just hear the person.
Really listening to the person on the other end of that phone when they say that they're okay. Because we become programmed to be able to say we're okay, when actuality we're sheltering in fear.
A lot of time we can keep secrets and nobody knows what's going on behind closed doors, right? So find a safe place that you can say, hey, this is what's happening. Let me talk through it. And then if that person, once you talk to them and you feel it's okay, I need to remove myself, then they can help you kind of take those steps.
SCDSS says a phone call, social distance visits, dropping off necessary items, or reaching out to authorities are all great forms of helping them.
We have folks going out and again, investigating the safety of children and adults who may be putting themselves at risk. So, it's a really tough time. It's overwhelming. Our work is based on timeliness. What's the urgency? How timely can you do this? Because without that, it affects children and families and adults, and everything is around urgency. And this has slowed it down a little bit for us.
So your role is to be that of a supporter, a non-judgmental supporter, and always have an open door and an open heart, ready to walk alongside that person when they're ready to take those steps, and keep encouraging them and have them to know that there is life on the other side.
It's up to each of us to look out for one another. Tatiana Cash, 7 News.